Greetings to everyone joining us today. Welcome to our webinar. Welcome to our AI webinar. We have an exciting agenda to go through today, but a little bit about myself and NewScaler and our speakers before we start. So my name is Winnie Gokru, and I am the director at NewScaler, heading sales and marketing. We are system integrators specializing in a range of services that drive digital transformation. And we offer comprehensive solutions in both the public sector and private sector. But today, our focus would be on SMBs, diving deep into how AI can streamline operations and enhance productivity across various business models looking to increase their ROI. So this webinar is packed with a wealth of knowledge and insights, not just for small businesses, but for any organization aiming to harness the power of AI. We will be presenting a live demo of our chatbot, which is super exciting. We have interactive polls to engage with you. And throughout the webinar, our Q&A session will be open. So please keep your questions coming, and our moderators will try to answer as many as possible during this session. So a little bit about our speakers. So we have here, and we are extremely fortunate to have with us today a distinguished panel of experts. First, we have Nathan Stokes, who joins us from Pax8, bringing years of experience in business sales strategies and with a passion for new technologies. He will discuss the insightful possibilities of AI, Copilot for Microsoft 365, and some real-life examples for businesses. Lovely. And then we have Amit Gokru, who is here on behalf of NewScaler. And he will be exploring on how innovative business solutions targeting specific challenges will help, with the help of AI, can transform pain points into strategic growth for both SMBs and enterprises. He also will be demonstrating the chatbot I was talking about earlier, which is really exciting. Then we have Ellie Addison from Microsoft, who comes with a deep understanding of Microsoft ecosystems. She will be highlighting how Microsoft is reshaping the AI landscape, providing pivotal benefits for businesses. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Nathan to kickstart the webinar.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, good morning, everyone. You've got me for the next, I think, 10 minutes. I'll try and sneak a couple more minutes in just to go through a couple of pieces around M365 Copilot, what it does, how you should consider it, and some of the key features and options that you have with using this solution. I'm going to try and give you a small demo of it as well. As much as we've got a short period of time here, I want to give you a taster of some of the capabilities. Let me start by sharing out my screen. Give me 1 second here. Excellent. So that should be loading up any second. As it continues to load up, I want to give you a bit of a backdrop of Copilot. You're going to hear a little bit more from Amit later on today around the different versions of Copilot and where they play their part in the ecosystem. With Copilot for M365, I really want you to imagine this as your AI assistant. There's a little bit of misunderstanding in the market around, is this going to do the job for me? Do I need to do anything? Whatever it may be. I really want you to see this as an AI assistant that's going to really enhance the work that you do. I think one of the big things with anything AI related, especially something that's out of the box, that's going to be connected to your Office 365 applications, it's more the consideration of where does this actually impact? How can I translate this into a user or into a team or my organization? So I want you to consider 4 pillars of value that Copilot for M365 can bring to your organization. I want you to consider quantity of work, quality of work, digital skill, and business culture. Copilot for M365 can impact all 4 of those pillars within your organization with a varied degree of success. So if we look at quantity of work, how many emails are being digested and responded to in a speedy and accurate manner? How quickly can you digest information that's been published on your team's environment, whether it's chats and channels? How quickly are you able to respond or pivot to a desire or need for a new PowerPoint presentation being created, for example, or a new blog post for social media? Or maybe you need to do a bit more of a detailed report on competitor analysis in a certain geographical location. All of these things that often took a lot of time with manually searching from place to place or forum to forum, you can now centralize through a lot of the activities. So quantity of work is a massive thing that can be tackled. Quality of work. A slightly harder thing to quantify for organizations, but just as impactful if you get it right. And this can come to client proposals, this can come to internal operations and communication, and again, this can come to how you brand yourself or advertise yourself out to the market that you work in. The quality of work can be significantly impacted across the board. Digital skills are a really important one to consider. When we look at the Office 365 suite, it's growing consistently with new features within the applications that you use today. Teams is obviously one of the most dominant ones that constantly has new things being launched in it. But when you have a user that's got an Office 365 package, I hold my hands up all the time and say I've been working in this space for I think just over 10 years now. But if you saw me navigate an Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation, you may even laugh in regards to how primitive I look, because I'm not, I wouldn't say that's my high skilled application. But now I'm in a position with using Copilot that I don't have to have that concern. I don't have to rely on someone else who does have that skill, and I don't have to produce less quality work. I've now got this AI assistant that I can communicate through common language to then get the outcomes I want. So that digital skill now is enhancing the user experience, and it's improving their quality of work and helping them with how much work they're working on. And then you've got the business culture piece, which is a little bit, again, probably the hardest out of the four to really quantify. But when we think about business culture, we've got to start to consider, well, how do my employees feel? How much are they enjoying their job? Where is their creative freedom coming from? You've also got the consideration also of talent retention and talent acquisition. If you are an organization that has not adopted any AI yet within your organization, and you've got rich talent that's maybe hearing peers through other organizations that have adopted AI to bolster their work, then there may be that threat of losing some talent. And then as we now see the Gen Z generation flooding into the workspace, AI is now kind of this less quirky, cool thing to have, and it's becoming a bit of a prerequisite for the new generation, a new talent force coming into the workplace. So those are kind of a couple of things I would love for you to consider. Can you see my screen okay? Yep, excellent, perfect. I just wanted to give you a couple of quick examples. The first thing that you can see on my screen is this is actually formerly known as Bing Chat Enterprise. It's now called Copilot. Good for Microsoft to try and name everything the same to try and confuse us. But this is actually free from business standard upwards. So you've got a lot of users, the large majority of users in the UK actually have access to this already. And I really want you to try and consider this as the corporate version of ChatGPT. It will protect your data, which is a really important thing to consider. You can put sensitive IP, you can put marketing information, emails, and so forth. So I want to give you a bit of an example of, let's just say you've got writer's block. Let's just say it's the end of a Friday, but you have got quite a sensitive email that needs to be sent internally or externally. And it's coming across maybe too direct, too aggressive. So I'm going to ask Copilot, can you help me make this email sound less aggressive? And then I'm going to put the email in there. And within seconds, my writer's block or my emotional state at the time, whatever it may be, has now been amended just to support my work with rewriting an email to make me sound more professional, use way more appropriate language, but still get the message across of what I originally wanted to get done. Flicking over to the work tab, you only unlock this feature if you've got Copilot for M365. So that one I just showed you there, where you can do content creation, editing, image creation. There's a lot more I could have shown. That's free for everyone who's using the business standard license upwards. This, what I'm showing you now, is from the use of M365 Copilot. And what you see here is this is actually an interface where it will actually collect all of your Microsoft information. So this could be from meetings you've had with colleagues, Teams messages, things saved and stored in SharePoint or OneDrive projects that you're working on collaboratively with other team members. And you can use this to catch up with what's in your inbox. You can catch up on meetings. You can actually maybe, you need to have a meeting with 2 colleagues in 2 weeks' time. Instead of you opening up Outlook and adding calendars and trying to find a good time or sending messages, you can simply ask this tool, hey, I would love to meet with John and Sarah week commencing the 7th for an hour to discuss X, Y, and Z. And Copilot will actually find the time that all 3 of you are free for the time that you've suggested, but it will also find if that meeting has maybe already occurred, even if you weren't a part of it. So again, we're talking about speeding up work and ensuring that quality is being addressed. I appreciate I'm running out of time already, so I'm just going to quickly flick over to just one last example, which is Copilot sitting within some of the apps. So I wanted to use Copilot as the topic. So you'll see that it's natively sitting within the application, which is very consistent across all the apps that you commonly use. So I'm going to click onto the AI. and I'm going to ask it to draft up a proposal on why an SMB should adopt Copilot for M365. And again, think about it from the people on this call. What is your job? What industry do you work in? What are the things that you're tasked to find out more about, or do a client proposal or internal proposition to maybe change a process? Think about all those things that you could be doing or would be doing to use this. And as you see, in Copilot's now going to work. It's now going to essentially give me a whole draft on why SMBs should adopt Copilot for M365 and what it's going to bring to their organization. I would have loved to have been able to save that and then share it and put it into PowerPoint to then give you the visual of what that looks like. But I do appreciate I am eating into another awesome presenter's time. I'll leave you with this, giving you a snippet. I've given you a high-level overview of some of the aspects, and you're going to hear a little bit more from Ellie later on anyway on this. But if you've got any questions on Copilot for M365 as an AI strategy, a plan for your business, please let the team at NewScaler know, and we'll be able to support you going forward. Cool. Thanks for your time. With that, I will hand over to Amit.
Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Good morning, everyone. It's brilliant to see so many of you keen to understand how artificial intelligence can streamline and enhance your business. I mean, as Nathan actually pointed out, that there are so many possibilities with even using Copilot, that you can actually bring efficiency to your work. You can make your work more accurate. I mean, we often grapple with the unpredictability of British weather. We always moan about it. But one thing we aim for in our business is predictability and efficiency. So let's kick things off with our AI timeline. So let's look at the AI timeline of how the AI is actually changing as we have been working with a lot of technologies. If you can bring the slide up, and then I'll give you a quick demo on what Nathan spoke about, that how you can actually personalize Copilot to suit your business and how it will enhance your productivity to your business as well. So let me bring the slide up. I promise it's not going to be a death by PowerPoint. It's going to be very, very quick. So if you see this, and if you look at the AI timelines, we often talk about, we trace the incredible journey of AI, showing how these technologies have become an essential tool in our business toolkit. When we started off in 2020, AI was not that reliable, and we were still struggling to actually form a sentence or correct a sentence in the context of our conversation. From that to ChatGPT, Bard, OpenAI, we've actually come a long way. And AI is going to actually start taking a lot of work, which is quite repetitive in nature and which requires a lot of supervision. So AI is quite capable of doing that. And going forward, we are going to see a lot of those coming into the SMBs as well. So like if we talk about SMBs, and if we talk about, when we speak about the real-time, real-world examples where AI is actually making a big difference, helping businesses like yours becoming more efficient and responsive, you talk about the first thing is intelligent call centers. I mean, that leverage chatbots and virtual assistant that provides instant and accurate response to the customer queries. It not only reduces the wait times, but also improves the overall efficiency of the response and provide accurate information to the customer. But moving on, I mean, they can also analyze the question to provide recommendation and offer personalized support in the moment itself. I mean, as we are talking to AI assistant, it can actually offer the assistant there and then. It can resolve your query. Think about if you're looking to track down a parcel, it can actually look at the map, and then it can locate the location and tell you exactly where your parcel is or when it's going to get delivered to your house. I mean, that could be a logistic challenge for a small business. But if you have AI to your assistant, it can do that job for you. Again, another one is content generation. I mean, content generation for many businesses is very time consuming. I mean, think about it. When we actually write the blogs, when we are running a small business and we need to get the word out, we try to write articles, we try to actually interact more with our customer base, with our interested audience, and it does take a lot of resources. It does take a lot of time to actually create the content as well. So if AI can actually come in, it not only writes, as Nathan actually shown you, that it can write some accurate emails, it can write some accurate articles, it can provide some information which is actually contemporary to what you're living in. So that makes a lot of difference with AI. And in today's world, we all know that anything which is personalized to you attracts your attention, because sometimes people think that AI is only generating all the generic content and it's not personalized to what you're looking for. So that change has happened in the last few months, where AI has started delivering more hyper-personalized content and it optimizes the engagement and conversation rate. So it's really good for the business when you actually personalize your chat or your communication with your customer. It attracts more traction to your business as well. And like other Copilot we looked at today, I mean, the Microsoft 365 will be looking into a live demo of how it can actually hook into your data and can provide the in-context conversation as well. So we'll move into that. The next slide is there are three major Copilot types. The first one, which Nathan has already touched upon, that Microsoft 365. Once you acquire the license, you get into the Microsoft 365 Copilot suite, and then that can actually hook into your OneDrive for Business, SharePoint, your Teams data, and can provide you in-context conversation based on the data which is being uploaded to you. The second one is, which is more suitable for the people who are not only trying to interact with the customer, but trying to actually create a process as part of the Copilot. So that is Copilot Studio, which is a solution enhancer. It often actually hooks into your data, but at the same time provides you with different business flows so that you can actually interact with your data and do more with it, like approve the timesheets, like look at the hours people are working in, or probably reply to an email from a customer based on the stock level you have in the warehouse. So it can do a lot of things like that. And the third one is, if you really want to actually go away from the Microsoft suite, and if you want to actually include Microsoft suite and go away from it, like if you want to include your social media channels, if you want to include your website, then you go towards the more tailored version, which is what we will be demonstrating today. So let me stop the PowerPoint bombardment and let me go over to the demonstration. So let me share my screen and let me know if you guys are able to see it. Quickly share the screen. Brilliant. So often in our business, I mean, I'll just tell you exactly how we actually came about it. So before we actually see it in action, we kept hearing from our customers that tech can be tricky. It's really hard to actually explain technology to people who are not technical. And sometimes our customers have actually come to us and they've complained that, how do we actually tell you our business needs and get the technology solution? Because often it takes about 3 or 4 meetings, because translating business into tech solution was like trying to read a map in the dark, because people are, non-technical people are not able to actually explain the technology in a technical fashion. So we thought that why not simplify this, and why not create a chatbot that could turn this around, making the first explanation the only one you will need to actually carry out the conversation with our business. So what we did is we actually created a chatbot. So let me show you. So if you go to our website, what we have done is we have actually created a chatbot. It activates as soon as you go to the website, you click any of the section, and then it opens up like this. So what you see on your screen is it welcomes you and it says that discover how we can help. If you click on that, there are 2 options to it. And the first option is the chatbot is this one is just a friendly one. So it is trying to help you out, but at the same time, it's giving you more option. If you're an IT pro person, if you understand IT, then it gives you another option to assess your security. So the first thing is, I'm a non-technical person. I go into the website and I see Newscaler sells a lot of things, but I don't understand technology. I've got a problem to solve in my business. So what do? I click on how do I resolve my IT challenge? All right. So it says, in case we get disconnected, can I actually have an email address for you? So what I do is I type in the email address and here we go. So now it's asking me, what are you experiencing? What is it, what you're trying to solve? Now, remember, I'm a non-IT person. I do not understand the technical side of things. So I'll just say that we collect a lot of personal data for our customers, and we are looking for a solution to protect it. Can you help? Brilliant. Goes away and it gives me a response back. Of course, we can definitely help you with that. But can you tell me what kind of personal data? So now it's not interacting as a ID personal, where it's saying that, by the way, guys, are you actually collecting any a PCI compliant data? It is not asking the question in that fashion. It's saying that, yeah, tell me what you're trying to protect, and then I'll help you with that. So I'll just say it's my customers' email address and their phone numbers. Okay, thank you for the information. how many customers do you have, and how do you actually currently store and protect the email address and phone number. So now we are having a generic conversation. We are not having a technical conversation. We're just having a generic conversation. We store them on cloud. So basically what I'm trying to demonstrate is that when we had customer interacting with our business, a lot of technical details have actually gone out to them, which has actually put them off because they don't understand technical details. They want somebody to speak their language to translate the business into the way they understand their business. So this is what we have done. So we store them on the cloud, or we store them on hard drive, for example, or a disk. There you go. Brilliant. So it says that, thank you for letting me know. Storing personal data on disk can be risky as it can easily be lost or stolen. Have you considered using more cloud-based storage solution to store your data, to store the customer data? And it is now giving me a context of how we can do that. But then we thought that normally, I mean, a customer interacts from all over the Europe, and they don't speak English all the time. So then what we did is we actually put our chatbot to test, because we actually configured it to speak in multiple languages as well. So we thought that, how about this, that if I start to speak to the chatbot in my native language, as I'm not a French-aware person, so what I did is I actually created some content. So we are having a network outage. Only if I can type properly. And then if I convert that, I'll just copy that, copy it. And let's see if our chatbot can actually understand that. So it's going to go through and it's going to get my email address. And now I'm going to type the question in French, and let's see what happens. Brilliant. I get the response back in my own language. Now, I'm not a French-aware person, so I don't understand that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another Microsoft tool to say exactly what the response I've received in French. Let's have a look. Of course, I would love to help you. Could you tell me how big your company and what is your IT network maturity level? So it has now started to interact in French. So think about it. Imagine the possibility of your customers interacting in different languages. And if your front end, if your interface, which is interacting with the customer, can speak multiple languages, you don't have to hire a lot of people to translate. And the message doesn't get lost in translation as well. So that's the beauty of AI. And so let's see, let's put it to the test. If I'm an IT aware person, and if I want to know whether I'm ready to actually adopt AI into my organization, I'm going to go away and I'm going to select second option, assess my security. All right, again, in case we just get disconnected, I'll give the email address so that my conversation can be restored. And I'll say, you know what, let's start with AI readiness. Am I ready for AI? What it'll do is this chatbot will actually start asking me questions to assess my readiness, my organization's readiness for AI, whether I can actually adopt the AI or not. So it'll do the assessment. So if I, for example, if I start selecting fair, because I think we are fair in AI, and I'll keep on selecting the tabs. It'll keep on asking the questions based on the answers I've given or answers I've selected, and it'll keep on asking me about 4 or 5 questions more. I think it asks about 12 questions, sorry. So once I do that, then you will see that probably it will give me an assessment score. So it'll say that your organization has a fair alignment of AI initiative. So what I'm trying to show you is that basically with the help of AI, you can actually do a very simple task, but at the same time, you can actually give it more complex tasks like assessing somebody's AI readiness or assessing somebody's data security, and it'll go away and do that. This tool is now live on our website, so feel free to actually test it. I mean, as soon as you go onto our website, you will be able to see it. And this is a more tailored version of Copilot and OpenAI. So you will see this, and as soon as you click on this, the chatbot will open and it'll start to interact with you as if you know our business, you're part of our business, you're part of our family. On that note, thank you so much for your attention. And now I'll pass you back to, so I'll hand it over to Ellie. But if you have any questions, please feel free to actually pop that into the chat window. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Ellie.
Thank you very much, Amit. Great session. I love that. And it's really interesting to hear actually how you're using AI outside of Copilot, because I think we talk a lot about Copilot for M365, but there is a lot of applications you can use it for. So awesome to see that. I'm just going to try and present my slides. So if you can just give me a thumbs up when you can see those. Perfect. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and Amit, this really kind of talks to when you talk to the AI timeline, I think this really shows it. And this is all about how fast generative AI has happened. And if we look at user adoption, for example, over the last few years, there's been some massive advancements in technology, but mobile phones took 16 years to get to 100 million users. The internet took 7 years to get to 100 million users. Facebook, 4.5 years. And ChatGPT did it in 2 months. And as somebody that works in IT, not many people in my family and my circle of friends work in IT. And AI is the first time people in that circle have come to me and really asked, like, what is this? How do I use it? You know, what's the strategy around this? How do I get access to this within my organization? So it's been really interesting to see this take off. And the amount of people, including my 9-year-old niece, who uses ChatGPT all of the time to create poems on, you know, can you buy me this present? And here's a great poem I've written as to why you should do so, has been amazing to see. So I really think AI has been probably one of the biggest waves we've seen in terms of interest from everyday users, not just those within IT. And actually what that means is it really changes the kind of outlook in business, and it's really shifting the mentality within businesses and what they need to do. So it's affecting every single individual. You know, people see the ability of Copilot and what it can do, and they want to access that. It helps you to collaborate more effectively. It helps you to find information so much faster than you've ever been able to. It's also across every single function. You know, how do sellers spend more time with customers? How do marketeers make their job so much easier when it comes to content creation and collaboration? And it also scales across every single industry. So we're seeing use cases, you know, across things like retail. How do you get those data-driven insights? How do you put them into a machine learning model that helps you understand your customers better? How do you do things like deliver personalized healthcare? You know, how do you make finance safer? How do you make manufacturing more efficient? There's so many different use cases for AI. And what's really interesting is to see it being driven by users as well as by IT within organizations. The other thing I wanted to look at was IBM did a recent study that showed that 3 out of 4 CEOs believe that organizations with the most advanced generative AI will have a competitive edge. So they really believe that moving forward, AI is going to set businesses apart from one another. It really is going to be the leading edge. But what this means is it's not just about adoption of AI. It's not just how do you adopt Copilot and that's going to change your business. It's actually how do you think about building that longer term strategy. So again, back to Amit's session, it's not just about that Copilot for M365 piece, but how do you scale out AI across your whole organization to make it more efficient? How do you understand your customers better? How do you go faster through the use of AI across your organization? The other thing that we get a lot of questions around is trust. So the Microsoft Cloud runs on trust. It's core to everything that we do. So we're committed to security, privacy, and compliance, and our approach to AI is no different. This is core to every single one of the Microsoft portfolio products. So, you know, some of the key points to raise is within Copilot, your data is your data. So you can choose what you want to leverage. It's up to you what you share. It's not used to train the OpenAI models without permission. So it's up to you if you want it to train it. You can train internally within your own organization, or you can choose to do it wider, but that is up to the customer to decide. And also within Copilot, your data is protected by the most comprehensive enterprise compliance and security controls. So we do make sure that end-to-end your data is secure within Copilot, and making sure that you're not going to spill any secrets. I know we saw a lot of that when ChatGPT first came out, people putting things into the model, not quite realizing that it was public, but within Copilot, your data is always protected and we will always secure you as much as we can. So moving to a bit more of a focus on Copilot for M365, one thing I wanted to raise was the Microsoft Work Trend Index. So this is a piece of work we do yearly. It surveys 31,000 people across 31 different countries. And what we're trying to do here is understand patterns, you know, in terms of ways of working. So what are people seeing as their biggest challenges currently? And then how can we look to address some of those? And what was really interesting is, especially through the last few years, we've obviously been through COVID, we've been through lockdowns, the ways of working have changed massively. And some of the key challenges that were raised out of this were that 64% of people found that they struggled with finding time and energy to get their work done. So, you know, it's a huge amount of people that are just finding they don't have the time in the week to complete the tasks they've got. I think COVID was a big driver to that. Things got very specific. You didn't kind of have those times in the office where you just met up for a cup of tea and spent 5 minutes chatting. You lost kind of all of those little bits of time and they became dedicated to working. So finding time has become much more difficult. 62% of people find they spend too much time searching for information during the workday. You know, as somebody who works at Microsoft, I'm sure you can imagine the amount of information we've got internally. Sometimes trying to find the right PowerPoint, you know, the right presentation, the right Teams background can be a massive challenge in terms of the amount of content you have to get through. And 60% of leaders say a lack of innovation or breakthrough ideas is a concern for them. So again, if your time is being consumed constantly by all of these little tasks, you have less time to innovate, less time to think. And actually, this is where Copilot comes in. So the stats on the right-hand side of the screen are from our early Copilot adopters. And actually 70% of those said Copilot made them more productive. I think we can all expect that one. Even some of the stuff that Nathan showed earlier, there are ways it can make your day much faster when it comes to writing emails, when it comes to those simple challenges that are just time consuming. 68% said Copilot improved the quality of their work, and 77% said they didn't want to give Copilot up. But I think what's actually more interesting is one of the studies we did, actually, there was 50% or over 50% of Copilot users said they would happily pay for a Copilot license. That's how much time and energy it was saving them on a day-to-day basis. So what I wanted to do now, if it's okay, is bring Nathan back in to have a bit more discussion about actually the day-to-day uses of Copilot and what you can do. So I'd like to kind of start with, from my perspective, where I see Copilot as the biggest use case for me. I've used it since November. It took a long time for me to adopt Copilot. I think it is a skill. It's something you have to really work on building into your day-to-day life. But for me, the biggest one is if you've been off on a week's holiday and you come back, being able to put a prompt into Teams that says, please tell me in a table format, what have I missed? What do I need to catch up on? And it will give me a wonderful table that says, this person's asked for this. Here's where you can refer to that. They did it within Teams or they did it within Outlook. And actually, here's the action that you need to follow up on. It will tell you whole conversations and condense them so much that it just gives you the salient points. And then how do you get the follow-up action out of that? That, to me, I think has been the biggest game changer. I think just to mention as well, somebody put a really salient point in the chat around actually how do you remain authentic to your personality when you're using Copilot? That's one thing for me. I think I've struggled to get Copilot to write me an email because they come across as incredibly formal, which is just not the way I communicate. But actually, what it's great at doing is formulating a base for you. So at least it does 75% of the work. And then do you know what? I'll take on the last 25% to make it personal to me. But yeah, Nathan, I'd love to hear kind of what's been your biggest game changer? What's been the one thing you've done, day to day that's really helped you to be more efficient?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that have really changed my day-to-day workings, but to just touch upon that authentic piece, and I wouldn't say I've used it that much, but there is one really cool feature within Copilot that you can use. If you ask Copilot to draft a response to an email using either a document or even just a narrative or a prompt, a natural suggestion, to Ellie's point, it's going to make us sound maybe not as we are. I'm very similar. I'm not very formal, but there is a new feature that was launched towards the start of the year called Sound Like Me. So Copilot will actually go through your emails. You'll actually learn, how you sign off emails, how you introduce yourself, and common language that you use within it. So there is ways of trying to make it a little bit more authentic. But yeah, I think Ellie's suggestion of 75% of the work and then you do the rest to make it personalized is a good one. For me, there's a couple of really key features that I just could not live without. Literally, just could not live without. The first one is the summary of meetings. So it feels really odd throughout my whole career. Internal meetings, client calls, whatever. I've always got pen and paper. I'm always writing down notes. I'm sometimes forgetting notes, or my handwriting's terrible. I don't know what I wrote. Just being able to be present on calls now and have Copilot summarize the calls for me, and then for me to be able to go back and engage. If I did miss something off, or I said I was going to send something over. So that's been a massive game changer because it also has sped up my ability to join meeting to meeting, where I don't have to go and write up 10 minutes worth of notes. I've got it there ready to store into my OneNote or a CRM system or whatever it may be. There's also a really cool feature called Follow. So if anyone's diary ends up looking like Tetris, where you've got meeting on top of meeting, things are conflicting with each other. Traditionally, just something gets sacrificed and you have to catch up with the team member to get the information on what was shared, or you have to wait for that company email to come out. We're now in a position where you can essentially attend this session that's been put on for you and send Copilot to the other session that you've got. Massively powerful due to the fact that you've now got your own assistant telling you what happened in that meeting, which is really useful. But you get to then engage with that meeting after the fact. And you can check things, static bits of information. Was my name brought up? What was the discussion around the client, the projects, deadlines, whatever it may be. But then you can also ask emotive questions. You can ask around sentiment or, alignment. Was there disagreement? You can actually get a really good understanding of the energy that was present within the meeting, which obviously helps with a quick catch up. And then very lastly is, I have to do a lot of presentations at times, again, both internally and externally. Some of it's training, some of it's presentations to different industries, to different partners across different parts of EMEA. So being able to have content drafted up for me make small changes, and then be able to get Copilot to do 75% of the work, as you cited, within PowerPoint, has been an absolute game changer for me. I've brought back, I don't know how far to take it. I'd probably say a week, a quarter. I probably brought back into my working day with the amount of edits it's done for me. So yeah, those are a couple of examples, Ellie.
Yeah, I think it's great. And one thing that I did forget, which of course is massively pertinent to me, is recap. So if you co-pilot a meeting, recap is a fantastic tool. So that's where within the Teams window, you click on the meeting, you click recap, it will give you what were the kind of key points raised within the meeting. So, you know, almost what were the key things that were talked about. Then it will go into actually what were the key actions. So it will at the person that the action was given to. So actually you can just lift and shift that straight into an email. So long gone is the pen and paper, like say, we're going to save a lot of trees. And actually you just copy, paste that, it gives everybody their actions and you don't have to touch anything. And the other thing that you touched on, Nathan, which I love, is the sentiment piece. Actually what it will do, it will say, you know, Nathan was super frustrated when he was talking about this. There was a huge amount of excitement in the room when you were talking about this. And you can also ask follow-on questions. So actually live within the meeting, say if there's a discussion going on and you're maybe blanking a bit, you're not really sure what to say, you can say, hey, Copilot, give me an idea of a question to ask about this topic. And it will give you questions that you can go and ask. And actually that brings me nicely onto looking at some of the kind of use cases. So these are some of the ones that we've built out. This, for example, is actually how can you use Copilot for hiring workflows? So, you know, as somebody in HR, if you're working in recruitment, how can you use Copilot to build you a job description? So you can put down salient points. What do you want the role to do? How do you want it to work? And then pop it into Copilot. It will build out a job description for you. You know, it will do things like go through resumes for you, or go through CVs and say, actually, can you give me an idea of what are the skills and capabilities here? What are the qualifications? And summarize that for me. And then these are the ones that I love. How do you get it to think about the interview questions? How do you get it to give you ideas, or at least give you the basis of where to start and how to ask those? And then while you're in that interview, to the point I just raised, how can you get Copilot to think of, you know, how to develop that question? What more can you ask? If you're feeling like it's a bit stilted, you don't really know where to go with it, how do you get Copilot to help out with that conversation? Moving on, how do you get Word to build you an offer letter for them? And then also how do you use things like the PowerPoint tools, exactly to Nathan's point on that content creation, to start creating some of those materials for you. We've got a few more of these use cases. I appreciate I've probably gone over time, so I should probably stop talking. But we do have these. So, you know, if you do want to look into this more, reach out to the team at NewScaler. Both Nathan and I are here to support them on the AI journey. So please feel free to reach out. And yeah, it'd be great to hear some more. And I will hand back to Winnie.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Thank you so much, Nathan. I would like to obviously thank everyone, all our speakers here, for their invaluable insights today. A special thank you to Nathan, to Ellie, to Amit for sharing their expertise and inspiring us with their knowledge and AI as its transformative potentials for businesses. So if you want to know more about them, check out their LinkedIn profiles. They are very friendly, as you can see, and very helpful. So check their profiles out. Before we conclude, I would like to quickly put up a poll. So please choose your answers, as it will help our chatbot perform at optimum capacity. So I will quickly put that up for you right now, and let me know what your answers are. So there you go. Perfect. So please choose your answers. This will really help us in obviously enhancing the chatbot, and it'll be really, really helpful for all of us. Perfect. So while you do that, also, we have our Q&A open, so please ask any questions that you want to. Our moderators are here to answer them, and I hope the questions that you've already asked have been answered to your full liking. So if you didn't get to a question, or we couldn't get to a question, don't worry, we will obviously follow up with an email, and also list it down on our LinkedIn page, so that'll help everyone to know more. Perfect. So NewScaler is definitely here to support your digital transformation journey. So please feel free to reach out to us. You can see the details on the screen, hopefully now. With that, you can see all our details here. Perfect. And yes, so please feel free to reach out. Whatever your questions, answers, you have any suggestions, please do let us know. And also, don't forget that as a token of our appreciation, all attendees and registrations will receive a £150 free consultation with NewScaler. So that is a bonus. So we will definitely reach out to you. And if you're interested, we can get to know more about you, your environment, and hopefully we will be able to help you in your transformation. as well. Perfect. And for those who couldn't attend this live session, don't worry, this webinar is being recorded and will be available soon. So keep an eye in your inbox. Sorry. Right. So thank you once again for joining us. We hope you leave today's session with valuable insight and to enhance your business operations. Hopefully, we've incorporated a few suggestions and ideas there. Enjoy the sunshine wherever you are and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.